So I have some dice here. These are called LCR dice. You notice they have some letters on them. L means left, which means a card that you have in front of you is going to the person to your left as you rotate in a circle. There's also R, which means it goes to the person to your right. And also a C, which means that the card would leave the game. Okay? And we also have some dots. If a dot means you get to keep the card. Okay? So we're going to roll the number of dice that match the number of cards you have in front of you. And to make this be just a quick game, I gave you each one. But typically with students, I might do 2, if not 3 different things. I do it with math facts. I do it with geometry pictures or geometry words, vocabulary words, any kind of context. This is a phenomenal game structure for that. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to give you the 1 dice here. Go ahead and roll it. All right, dot means she gets to keep it. So you're all set, you keep it, and now next player rolls the dice. Now, she rolled an L. That means it goes to the person on her left. But we're mathematizing the game because you're going to answer a question from me in order to be able to receive it. Otherwise, she gets to keep it, okay? So what I'll ask you first, I'm going to ask you a 2-part question. First of all, what shape do you see on that?
I see a square.
Okay. Can you classify that as any other kind of shape?
Quadrilateral.
Is it a quadrilateral then?
Of 4 sides.
4 sides. So you're going to allow to keep that card. I also would want to work with the kids to know that it's going to be straight sides and a closed figure. So polygons have to be a closed figure with straight sides. So yes, she gets to keep that card. So it goes to her, going to your left. Now you are not out of this game though, because she could roll right, she could roll left. So no one's ever out of the game, okay? But now she has 2 cards in front of her, so you get to roll 2 dice, because each dice tells what happens to each of those cards. 2 dots, you get to keep them. All right, so 1 dice goes to you, you get to roll 1. R, going to the person on the right. So I would ask you, can you classify for that for me in what way? What is that?
It's a rectangle.
Okay. What does a shape need to be in order to be classified as a rectangle?
It has to be closed, has to be straight, has to have 4 sides, it has to have 2 parallel sides, it has to have right angles. The sides do not have to be equal. All 4 sides do not have to be equal.
Could they be equal?
They could.
Gotcha. So to be a rectangle, this is a teaching game, right? So I'm talking to the kids and explaining it as well. So phenomenal job. To be a rectangle, the rect prefix means right and angle. So all you have to have is 4 right angles. A lot of times I find people defining it as 2 long and 2 short sides. But if I show you images of shapes that have 2 long and 2 short equal sides, they're not rectangles.
Right.
So we don't want to define it in that way. It's just 4 right angles, right? All right, so you aren't out of the game though.
Okay.
You're gonna roll 1. Right, go to the person on your right. Can you classify for me what kind of shape is that?
Trapezoid.
And what do you need to be a trapezoid?
To be a trapezoid, you need 1 set of parallel lines, sides.
Super. Now, in some states, in some countries, that is the definition of a trapezoid. In other states, it's called at least 1 pair of parallel sides. And then the classification changes everything. So there's an inclusive definition and an exclusive definition. So, super. Now, you don't have any cards in front of you, so you don't roll a die, but you got 3, and in the kit of the dice that you buy are 3. So if a student has more than 3, it doesn't matter. They just do the 3. Okay, so you're going to roll these 3 and see what happens to them. Oh, center. One of them leaves the game, and as the teacher, I choose the one that all the kids know. Because I want to keep in the game the ones that they're learning, right? So I'm going to take out the square, and I'm going to keep it. It's now out of the game, and the winner of this game is going to be whoever is left with the last card. So the one is going to the right, so if you could choose, you get to choose which one you want to move to Christy. So Christy, can you classify that shape for us?
It looks like a rhombus.
Okay, what makes a rhombus a rhombus?
It has 2 obtuse, 2 acute angles. It has 4 sides that are the same length. It's straight sides, and they're closed, and it's quadrilateral.
Super. So that quadrilateral means it's a closed figure with 4 straight sides, right? And an attribute is the 2 acute and the 2 obtuse angles, but it's not the qualification for it.
Right.
Just the 4 straight, the 4 equal length sides. That's why a square is also classified as a rhombus. Right, so that's the only test to be a rhombus.
Right.
But everything else you mentioned, totally wonderful.
Right.
And I could ask students about any of those things, so I can differentiate the questions that I ask to the child as well. Right. All right, and then we're gonna. That was your turn that you rolled, right? So your turn, you get to roll 1. Get to keep it. You get to roll 1. Center. It leaves the game. We're down to 2. So whoever ends up with the last card is going to be the winner of the game. Go ahead and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Get to keep
You
it.
get to keep
You
it.
get to roll.
Good roll right for that.
Get to
Get
keep
to
it.
keep it.
Back to you.
The pressure.
Keep
Wow.
going. Left. Go with the person on the left. Can you classify that shape
Trapezoid.
for us? Can you classify it to us in a different way?
A four-sided figure, closed figure.
And what do we call four-sided
Closed figure.
closed figures?
quadrilateral.
Quadrilaterals, right? So getting that classification out. I do this in grade 4 as a part of that standard. All right, super. Now you get to roll because it's your turn and you have a card in front of you. Oh, it leaves the game. In which case, I'm going to ask you, what is that shape?
This is a rectangle.
What makes it a rectangle?
It's a quadrilateral, so it has 4 sides. It's closed. There are 2 parallel sides on each. Right angles.
There you go. And actually, having the 4 right angles in that closed figure makes it a rectangle. Yeah, exactly. So then you would be the winner of the game. So you can tell how the cards end up going left and right. Like you can't tell who the winner is going to be until the very last moment. We're mathematizing it, of asking kids the questions that get their thinking, but it's a teaching game.